Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Danny Garcia said he's open to an Errol Spence Jr. fight and he ain't ducking nobody. It'll eventually happen. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family we working. Now, Danny Garcia, he redeemed himself coming off his first ever pro loss to Keith Thurman. He also expressed the idea of rematching Keith Thurman post-fight after he knocked out Brandon Rios, which was an entertaining fight. Post-fight, he talked about the prospects of fighting potential of great fight, really, and that's Errol Spence Jr. Danny Garcia says, I don't duck nobody, bro. I don't duck nobody. If you want to fight, let's fight. Like I said, Al Heyman is the manager. If you want to fight, let's fight. I'm a fighter. That's what I do. I fight. Everybody they ever put in front of me, I fought. I never said no to no one. And they asked him if Spence is the most avoided, basically, in the division. And he says, I don't think nobody's avoiding him. You got to understand, no fighter makes his own matches in boxing. Boxing is handled by managers and other people like that. But like I said before, it's a fight that's eventually going to happen. Everybody's going to fight everybody, just how I fought Keith Thurman. You feel me? And then someone said it exactly. They were talking about the Matisse situation. He says, if it's not Errol Spence, it's going to be a newcomer. It's going to be another guy that's coming up that people are going to say, you're scared to fight. That's just the boxing game. There's always going to be somebody new. I can't fight everybody at one time. So that's what Danny Garcia had to say. I want to give my thoughts. I disagree with some of it. I disagree with the part that people aren't avoiding Errol Spence Jr., right? And the reason I disagree with that is because it's kind of like the proof is in the pudding. And just how Danny Garcia is talking about the boxing game, what I've noticed in the boxing game is this. If you look like, and I hate to use this word, but for all intents and purposes, if you look invincible, meaning like your flaws have not been discovered, right? You don't see as many people calling out guys who are putting up brilliant, flawless performances. Sometimes you do, but by and large, I would say you don't. Like, even look at the middleweight division. Look at Gennady Golovkin. When he was 23 knockouts in a row into his career, despite the competition level, because I do think the middleweight division wasn't stacked as much, but during that time, you didn't see as many people. He couldn't get Sergio Martinez when he was champion. He couldn't get Miguel Cotto. At a point, he couldn't get Canelo, right? But then after, I would say after the Kell Brook fight, people were like, man, a welterweight? It was actually, I would say that for Triple G, the Kell Brook fight was a gift and a curse. And even though we all seen Triple G stop Kell Brook, it was a gift and a curse to me because he fought a welterweight who all of a sudden moved 2 weight divisions up and gave a valiant effort to the point where when someone's expected to, like, man, he's going up 2 divisions, he's crazy, he's fighting the number 1 middleweight with all this power, and then in the end he had an eye injury and got stopped, but he never got knocked down, he never got just really put down or like brutally knocked out like when Golovkin knocked out Ishida. So to me, that particular moment where people were like, we're talking like that. And then you've seen other fights materialize right after that, like Danny Jacobs. And then Danny Jacobs goes 12 with him. He does get knocked down once, but he goes 12 with Golovkin. And then Canelo fights him and goes 12 with him. Never gets knocked down, never really appears seriously hurt or anything. So now, fast forward to the future, you see people calling out Gennady Golovkin. You see guys like Jermall Charlo, who is only 1 fight at this moment, but he's about to fight March 3rd. So he'll be 2 fights deep in the middleweight division. He's already calling out for Golovkin, you know what I'm saying? And Canelo. So he's new to the division. So Danny Jacobs wants a rematch. I've talked to him, right? Canelo's taking the rematch. So This wasn't always the case, I guess you could say, a couple years ago for Golovkin. You know what I mean? After Gabe Rosado and stuff, there's still stuff that was unknown, but people just knew he was strong and had power. So that's what happened. So that's why I disagree with Danny Garcia. I think Spence is in that zone right now. You know what I mean? And it's not. This is always went on in boxing. Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? When Buster Douglas survives the early knockdown, even though it was a long count and technically he should have been counted out, but he survives and then comes to upset and stop Mike Tyson. Okay, that brings the reality back to the situation that this Mike Tyson dude is actually human. You know what I mean? You could hurt him just like anybody else. Boom, boom, boom. So far, people haven't discovered how to beat Errol Spence and like make him look horrible. I mean, you could say he was losing some rounds to Kell Brook, but I mean, in the end, they were equal size. See, again, unlike the Golovkin example, Golovkin got some work with a welterweight who moved up. Kell Brook and Errol Spence are about the same size. You know what I mean? They're both about, I mean, Kell Brook was looking massive for the welterweight fight. So, I mean, the fact that he lost some early rounds, it's an even fight. It's not like Kell Brook came from 35 and moved up to 47 and looked like that. And Kell Brook was the champion. So, I disagree with Danny Garcia there. Other thing is, Errol Spence, he tweeted, he said, hopefully Danny Garcia wins versus Brandon Rios, which he did do. He tweeted this the night of the fight. He said, hopefully he beats Brandon Rios, which, like I said, he did, so we could fight later in the year, since he says he wants that action. And, you know what I mean? Some people doubt it'll happen. Now, I personally, I like Danny Garcia, and I think he gets underrated in terms of people just bring up his worst moments. Rod Salka, he should have lost to Mauricio Herrera, the Lamont Peterson fight. But you got to look at under 30. He has the best resume at 147. You know what I mean? He's taken some challenges where he wasn't supposed to win, where he was the underdog. I mean, even the first Eric Morales fight, Morales was the champion with far more experience. And then he beat him, knocked him down. And then based on a rematch clause, a lot of people omit the, oh, why did he fight old Eric Morales twice? Eric Morales obviously pushed for the rematch, trying to get some get back, and for that he got back all right. He got spun back, spun around like James Brown. God, I don't know karate, but I know crazy hook. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, Amir Khan fight, Lucas Matisse. There's been a lot of fights Danny Garcia has taken he wasn't supposed to win. You know what I mean? So it remains to be seen if he'll really fight Errol Spence Jr., if he really and truly wants to. I look at it like this. It's a difficult fight for sure. I rate Errol Spence Jr. I think he's like coming of age and in his zone right now. And you look at it, Brandon Rios is not considered the top of the division, and he was putting on somewhat of an uncomfortable pressure. I think people are overstating it because they underestimated the level, you know what I mean, the fight beforehand. I told you guys this would be an entertaining fight. I told you that, you know what I mean? So I think some people were shocked by Brandon Rios even being in the fight and, you know what I mean, not getting knocked out and stuff. But like I said, a lot of people don't know shit about boxing, and a lot of people, what they were saying before Garcia Rios, it just wasn't realistic. Danny Garcia coming off a first loss, whatever happened, whatever that did to his confidence, a long layoff, and then Brandon Rios being in shape, being hungry, and being a tough guy with a pressure style. You know what I mean? So I knew it would produce some fireworks. A lot of people, when they get fight predictions, it's never realistic. It's, oh, Rios is a punching bag, he's gonna get stopped in round one. Like, it's just not realistic. You know what I mean? He did get stopped, but it was in the 9th round. So for that, some people thought Rios did far better. Rios did exactly what I thought he would do, which was show his grit, show his cojones, and bring the fight forward, take big shots, and keep trucking for as long as he could. And that's what it was, you know what I mean? So that wasn't a surprise to me. None of it. And even him getting stopped wasn't a huge surprise. I didn't necessarily expect him to get stopped with a headshot, a single shot headshot, but you know what I mean? It's boxing, shit happens. But nonetheless, you look at that fight, Rios put on some good pressure. I don't know how much of it was Danny Garcia being on a long layoff, but Errol Spence puts on that type of pressure, but it's more educated, and I don't remember Rios, you know, he has like the quote unquote Mexican style. I don't remember him against Garcia throwing too many great body shots, but Errol Spence, that's what he does. And see, that could be a problem for Danny Garcia, because Danny Garcia at this point, his chin has been tested. I would say even more so than Errol Spence Jr., because he got hit with the shot from Lucas Matisse, and his whole mouthpiece, he ate the whole shot. You know what I'm saying? His whole mouthpiece flew across, and they showed it in slow motion. He got a chin, bro, because Matisse is one of the, especially at that time, one of the strongest 140 pounders. I remember Tim Bradley, who's fought against Ruslan Provodnikov and had a concussion, fought Pacquiao 3 times. He did an interview and he says Matisse in sparring, with the larger glove size required for sparring and headgear, he says nobody has hit him harder than Lucas Matisse. So I know Lucas Matisse, especially when he was beating Peterson and running through guys at 40, I know his power was up there. You know what I mean? You seen he didn't even look good in his last fight, yet his power showed up and he stopped that Karam guy. So Danny Garcia's chin is not in question to me. He also took, you know what I mean, as a fairly new welterweight, he took a monster shot from Keith Thurman, I think in the first round, and he never, I mean, he might have got buckled a little bit, but he didn't drop. But Errol Spence is a different animal, because he's not gonna just headhunt. He's gonna dig to them guts. Pause. So some guys who could take a successful headshot, you might be able to stop them to the body. So it remains to be seen if Danny Garcia really and truly is down to fight Errol Spence, but according to him, he's never ducked anyone and he's down to fight. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.